Margaret Ferrier.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to make my maiden speech to the House and to take part in this important debate. I congratulate the Honourable Member for South Leicestershire for his interesting maiden speech, and I am sure that we will work hard for his constituents over these next 5 years. I want to also congratulate all of my honourable friends for their wonderful maiden speeches. I am sure they will all work extremely hard over the next 5 years also. It is a privilege and an honour to be standing here before you today as not only the very first SNP MP for the Rutherglen and Hamilton West constituency, but also as the first female MP, although parts of the constituency, namely Blantyre and Hamilton West, had the pleasure of being served by the great Winnie Ewing back in 1967. Thank you all for placing your trust in me to represent you. I will work hard to repay that trust over the next 5 years. My early days in the House of Commons has been in equal measures both interesting and challenging. There is a lot to learn, and not just in the way you act in the chamber, but also how not to act, Madam Deputy Speaker. Since arriving here, I am sure that my honourable friends in the benches will join with me in saying that the staff have been more than helpful and attentive to our needs. The doorkeepers have been particularly charming, keen to remember all of the names of the new members, and it is clear to see, Madam Deputy Speaker, how much they love and take pride in what they do. As is customary, I would like to mention my predecessor, Tom Greatrix. He was a Labour and Cooperative member between 2010 to 2015. He was born on the 30th of September in 1974 in Ashford, Kent. He held various posts within his party before latterly taking on the post of Shadow Energy Minister. I hope to represent my constituents as diligently as he, and I am sure that whatever the future holds for him, it will be a successful one. Maybe now that he has more time, he can enjoy spending it with his wife and twin daughters and supporting his beloved football club, Fulham. The constituency of Rutherglen and Hamilton West is diverse in every sense. Rutherglen received the status of Royal Borough in 1126, by royal charter from King David I of Scotland. Cambuslang, with a long history of coal mining, iron and steel making. Halfway, where I have made my home for the last 15 years, given that name because passengers would stop there to change their horses and rest on the journey from Glasgow to Hamilton. The district also had the older name of Gilbertfield, where a castle still stands, owned once by Hamilton of Gilbertfield, a friend of our national bard Robert Burns. Blantyre, the birthplace of David Livingstone, 19th century explorer and missionary. His former house, now a museum to this day. Blantyre has strong ties with Malawi, one of the countries Livingstone explored. Last, but by no means least, Hamilton. Originally known as Cadzo, many notable people have connections with Hamilton, including the blonde bombshell, as she was known, the late Margaret MacDonald. There are affluent areas within my constituency, but also communities crying out for regeneration, investment and love and attention. Within these communities, we are blessed with truly selfless, hard-working people who are contributing to our society daily. Volunteers in many organisations, charities and community councils. These are the unsung heroes that make the larger community of Rutherglen and Hamilton West what it is. It will be a great pleasure to work with all of these people over the next 5 years. I look forward to meeting many of them during my tenure as their MP, and I will do my very best to serve them with honesty and integrity. The legacy that I would wish to leave my constituents would be one of positive change for our communities that we all live and work in. I have been elected to be their voice in Parliament and to speak up for those with no voice. The mother who is forced to visit the local food bank, the father who has low-paid zero-hour contract employment, the carer who looks after a family member for no reward, the refugee reaching out for help in their time of need. On the 7th of May, the SNP was given a resounding mandate by the people of Scotland to be their strong voice here in this chamber. Why were we elected? Because we listened to the people of our nation, and we will continue to listen to them. We will be the real opposition benches, the real Social Democrats. We were told during the independence referendum that we were a family of nations, and more recently one nation. If those in the opposition benches truly mean those words, then they will listen to our contributions from across the chamber and in the committees. There are going to be many important pieces of legislation over these next 5 years, but I am particularly proud to be making my maiden speech in a debate on more powers for Scotland and the Scotland Bill. The bill has the potential to be much better than it currently is. My party will be taking every opportunity to improve the legislation, first by calling for implementation of the Smith Commission in full, and then by adding additional powers over our economy and society. I hope that Labour members will back us as we seek to take welfare out of the Tory hands and put it into the hands of the Parliament and the people of Scotland. I can see why it would be easy to fall under the spell of Westminster Palace. Walking within these corridors of power, there is no denying the history and the ornateness of this building. The archaic customs have a certain seductive charm. That is why it is so important to constantly remind ourselves of why we are here, who sent us here, and how long we will be here for. This, my honourable friends, is but a moment in time. Our heads cannot be turned. Our rightful place belongs back in that place we all call home, Scotland. All of us may have difficult choices to make within this chamber, but we must stand up and be counted. We cannot shy away from making those decisions that may have profound implications for our constituents. I will do my best to question each decision that I make with careful consideration, and I am sure that my honourable friends and I will scrutinise each and every piece of legislation carefully, opposing any unfair policies or decisions by the Tory government. It is fitting that our day in Parliament starts with prayers. Our task is not an easy one, and divine intervention is welcomed. But ultimately, one is responsible for one's own conduct and moral compass. It will be an interesting 5 years for myself and my 55 honourable friends. We relish the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead of us, and I hope that we can make progressive alliances across this chamber, working together in a spirit of collaboration. Let us find common cause, let us respect one another, and let us be guided to always do what is right, not for ourselves, Madam Deputy Speaker, but for those we serve. Sean Alba.